Yeah, isn't this cool? This like it doesn't sound like a PV. It's super stratty. The pickups are way underwound. Nope, they're just low output. It's interesting. I have the Tone Master back there on 6, and it's still not like overdriven and crazy. So yeah, can you hear my... Okay, is the mic up? I turn the mic back up. It always looks like it's clipping on this end. It looks like it's clipping on the preamp, but in here, looks like I can go a little harder. How's that work? Is that good? If not, I can go crazy. I can go up here. Nope, that's lower. Let me go like that. That looks the best so that I can... Too high, clipping. Okay. Yes, this is... Oh, boy. This is the PV from... I can stand up. This is the PV I bought from a guy who he said a couple weeks ago he bought it, or he got it out of a trash can. Alright. It's clipping now. Well, it's probably clipping because I'm... Okay, let me sit down and pay attention. Guys, I went from like freezing in the basement to now. Okay, I'm clipping even low, Rich says. So, how is that? That's how I had things set up earlier. Testing. How does this work? Does this sound? I can turn it on over here and listen to it. Testing. How does this... Okay, I checked it over there. It looks like it's sounding better. Okay, so it sounds fine. Okay, yeah, it gets tricky when I start messing with playing guitar and doing this at the same time. Anyway, let me scoot here into the middle of the frame. How is everybody? Tell me in the comments, where are you? What are you doing today? Maybe not what you're doing today, but tell me where you are in the world, because that's the coolest part, is seeing people that are just all around the world. Like, you know, so cool. Maybe Gary will show in from Yorkshire, and yeah, he'll say some hilarious and mildly inappropriate things. That's always the best part of a Friday. Still slightly low, but much better. I gotta figure out, I think I might need like a cloud lifter. I need to get a different mic. That's one of the things. I need to get a Shure SM7B. You know, it'd be cool. Like Joe Rogan. Nacogdoches. Blake Russell's in Nacogdoches, Chicago. Ignoring a client because they don't feel like writing code. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, especially on a Friday. It's starting to get a little warm. Yep, I ignored a phone call today. That was just... Nope. Not dealing with that today. Yeah. So, yeah, I need a preamp. Justin, hey, we're going to talk about your guitar here in a bit. So, quick announcements and fun stuff. Let's see, New York City, Chicago, we already talked about that. Dallas, Seattle. Man, all over the place. Yeah, JT says this is what live show should be. Full of surprises, nothing fake, real thing. Yeah, you know, every week I feel this is the most I've ever felt prepared for Guitar Hunter Live, which is great because I'm always trying to like do the best thing I can and you know, have each video be better than the last one. But this one I worked really hard and I made all the titles that we'll do here in a minute when we jump in. And then I was just kind of hanging around upstairs drinking some tea, and I was like, I didn't make a thumbnail, and all of a sudden it's this like panic to get a thumbnail together. Also, let me fix my camera angle a little bit. There we go. That brings it in. So I do want to show some cool stuff that came in this week. There's a couple things I want to do. I'll save this. Hang on one sec. Let me grab something. I got 3 things that are super exciting this week. Find my face. Find my face. There it is. So there are 3 things I'm super excited about. The first one I've teased a little bit. I got this from Mark Hopkins. And so this is the Chase Bliss Mood. This thing is amazing, astounding, confusing, frustrating, scary. It's a lot. It's very cool, but it's just so tricky to get to work. What's interesting is you'll set the settings in the same place, change one thing, and then come back, and it won't do the same thing that it did before. So I'm super excited to play with this thing and figure out what I would want to do with it. It's awesome. I just got it because I feel like I'm in a little bit of a rut guitar playing wise, and it's mostly because of YouTube stuff. Like, I have played everything I know how to play, and so I need to just find some new spaces, find some new tones, and change it up. Los Angeles. Yeah, I need CT64. Is that what preamp you're using, Justin? At the moment, working in the world abroad in Germany. Home is Finland. Oh, that's awesome. I used to work for a company based in Finland. Well, I didn't work for them. I was a sales rep for them. But they were in... Yep, they were in Finland. Anyway, Tacoma, Orlando, Wales. Jack, I think you missed the cutoff. I can't add it now. But we'll do this again. We'll make this kind of a regular segment. So this week, okay, so let me get back to so the first thing was the Mood. Super excited about this thing. Very cool. Crazy. It's a crazy thing. One of my favorite tweets from this year was from Jason Isbell a couple weeks ago when he was talking about, the tweet was like, oh, what did you do during lockdown? You wrote America's next great piece of fiction? Well, I figured out how to use 2 Chase Bliss pedals. So that's how I feel with this. It's awesome and crazy and beautiful, and then also like crazy robot violent, like crazy robot violence. That's how I feel about this pedal. North Central Texas, Blackpool, UK, from Lisbon, Portugal. Awesome. Portugal. So the other thing I got, actually, these came in. Find my face again. It just really wants you to see that. It really wants you to see that Gruen poster back behind me. But both of these are super exciting. Can I get you to focus on that? Oh, there it is. Hang on. I don't know why it's struggling so bad. This is a Canon. That's why I got this, so it wouldn't have this problem. So these are pickups. These are called Migas Touch, M-I-G-A-S. And they are, so I have 2 sets of pickups. These came from a YouTube subscriber and a guy who he started a new alternative to reverb called Mike's Music Mart. Mike Music Market. Oh boy, I should have double checked this before I got on here. But if you, like me, buy and sell stuff, but reverb has not been good or kind to you, mikesmusicmarket.com. But yeah, so the guy that makes these pickups is starting a new platform. So there are 2 guitars that you've seen, both of them this week, which was kind of the plan. So you've seen both of these guitars. They're guitars that are cool. Well, one is cool, one is pretty terrible. But they both need some TLC. So what I'm going to do with these, in one of these boxes, oh boy, there we go. So in this box is a set of, so these are the 69, these are his 69 Strat. So like super quacky, funky, cool soul. So I'm going to put these into that PV. I might even should I leave the black covers on? Let me know if you think. Should I do black covers that are on it and it would stay kind of incognito and black? Or should I do white covers? Is that too David Gilmour? I don't know. I'm torn on the black guitar, black pickguard, white. Yeah. So anyway, these are really cool. And then the other ones, I'm so excited about these. These are the aged Tele pickups. So I'm going to put these, the plan is to put these in that, the Glary, that terrible guitar back there. I probably want to find another neck for it, but I also don't really need another parts caster. Anyway, so that's the exciting stuff coming and going here. I also have a Morning Glory. Got a Pine Top. That's funny. Pine Top says there is no such thing as two David Gilmour. Yeah, it's interesting because it would be like very David Gilmour in like the colors alone, but then it's a Kaler locking trim and all that stuff, which apparently people got on me for calling it a Floyd Rose. It's a Kaler, it's a locking trim, but anyway. Oh. I have my pedal board. It really just wants to show you that poster back there. So, I have my pedal board here on the ground, and I keep kind of stepping on it as I come through. Have a bonfire with the Glary. It's, man, it's like, it is unusable in its present state, and I need to, like, commit some time and energy and effort to make it right. But basically, like, I wouldn't keep it if I didn't have pickups that I need to show off. So I'll make a video about swapping out pickups in that guitar, but I don't know how much I'll include. Like, I have no interest in doing it like, you bought a crap guitar, can you fix it? That's just not interesting to me. But I don't know. You guys let me know. If you want me to know, well, I don't know. I also want to show you a really cool thing I got. I've shown this on my Instagram if you follow me on Instagram, but I just want to, I can't get over how cool this thing is. Check that out. So it is a little replica of my Guild M20. Also in there is my actual, so it's a little version of my clippers, my winders. On the guitar itself is like there's even a little capo and a tuner. This thing is just such a gift. This is from Edward Sparks. And just, yeah, he had a super sweet note. He gave me a PDF here of him and a note. So it's just really, really sweet. I'm just humbled to get this. This is a really exciting and great thing. Yeah, so, I'm going to hang this up. I did have it in the back. I filmed a video yesterday where this was hanging in the back, but I'm going to find a really prominent, exciting place for this. Other exciting news. So, the basement here, really good space, but it's complicated for using with my family because it's our basement in a house that we live in during a pandemic. So it is tricky, and there's a lot of times that I just have to, like, beg and plead with my children, please be quiet. It's that, like, Jim Gaffigan, like, it's the reverse hostage negotiation. Like, what do you want? I will give you whatever you want if you are in the attic and you're just quiet and playing for a while. But yes, so anyway, so we had a contractor come and look at our garage. We have a standalone garage. Our house was built 100 years ago, and our garage is at least 70 years old. Like on the site survey, when they did some stuff to the house in 1957, that garage was there. So it's at least 60 couple years old. I shouldn't do math on the fly. It always leads to comments of people asking if I went to public school, which I did. Anyway, ooh. Hey Josh, thanks man. I appreciate it. It's a really fun, yeah, I know my volume is low. I don't know what is causing that. So how is that? Is that better? Check. It's still a little low in here too. I wonder why. I don't want to push it too hard and clip it, but that's about as high as I can get before it starts clipping. I figured out the audio a couple weeks ago. Remember when it was all stereo or when it was all mono? So I finally fixed that. But anyway, I'm very sorry about that. So, let's see. I did all the things. So the garage. So we're working on the garage. So it's a really cool standalone garage. All it needs, so it has a gravel floor, but it already is wired for electric, has its own panel. It's relatively insulated, has a good roof on it. So basically I can put concrete floor, frame a new wall, put a door in there, insulate walls, and then I can put, drop ceiling. Sorry, not drop ceiling. I can put in recessed lights into a ceiling, and then I can just make a really good studio. I think I can generally keep this same vibe that I really like. I like how this setup looks. But yeah, so it's but it would be 30, 40 feet from my kids. I still get to work from home, which is my favorite part of my life right now, is that I get to just be home with my kids a lot. And so there's a difference between recording and broadcasting audio levels for sure. Okay. Do I dare go into the settings and try and figure it out? Have I ever heard of Pribora pickups? I ordered a set for Telepartscaster. I have not. There are 1,000. There really are just 1,000 options for pickups, and that's great. And they're all really fun and really cool. And then certain pickups are really easy to change. Tele pickups are a little more complicated, particularly if they don't mount to the pick guard. They just mount to the body. So the general plan for today, we're going to run through some guitars. We're going to talk about, there are a lot of people that I see in the chat right now that your guitars are in here. We'll run through, I think there's 15 of them. So they're really fun. And then we'll run through, then we'll jump into Q&A at the end. And any questions, comments, slanderous remarks you want to make. Chad Ingram. Okay, I can't help but answer this question. Husson Dalton DRH or Martin HD28? Which are you choosing? I would choose a Husson Dalton DRH in a heartbeat. Now, you can't lose with an HD28 either. But this is also if it's me. Oh, Mark and Jeff made that. And Kimberly, coordinated the deal. And I know everybody involved. And so for me, it's a nostalgic thing. But also, the DRH is just a better guitar. To get a comparable guitar from Martin, it's not the HD28. It's probably a custom shop. It's probably maybe an authentic. Maybe not an authentic, but something in that just obscene level. So you're going to spend, to get the same level of guitar, I think you're dollar for dollar, you'll be about the same. Paul Jeffries, what's my take on Breedlove guitars? I really like Breedlove guitars. I much prefer their American-made stuff. Their import stuff is good, not great. I think it's the best in that $500 to $800 range. With the Atlas series, and then there's the ones that were $1,500. They're made in Vietnam. The Global series, maybe that's what they're called. It's been a while. I don't pay too much. There aren't any dealers around me for Breedlove, so I don't. They're not top of my list. But anyway, WYSIWYG, hey from the UK. Glad you guys are here. All right, let's jump in over here. I think you guys are going to really like... So this is over the last week or so on my Instagram. I've asked people to send me their guitars and gear. So we're going to start. So let me scoot over here a little bit. And boom, look at this. We are cooking. So this first one is... Pinetop Jackson. Chris, this is your guitar. This is a 1977 Washburn Falcon. This is super cool. This guitar feels so 70s. So it has, I didn't put the other picture, but on the back it's a through neck. So it's really cool. All the way through. Oh, I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do this. So see the wood grain there. And it goes all the way up here. And it pokes out there on the... Oh, that took too much brain. I'm not going to do that anymore. But this is a really cool... It reminds me of old Ibanez, old Carvin. What else? Some of the BC Rich. There are lots of guitars in this same kind of style. What's the one that Jerry Garcia used to play? This kind of double cut. It's very cool. This is a cool guitar, and it's got coil taps, volume tone, coil taps, super usable. I'm sure it would have a ton of sustain. I also bet, Chris, is this guitar heavy? I feel like this guitar would be pretty heavy. And for value, I don't know. I won't guess at that, but it's this is a good find. Cool guitar. Let's see. I'm going to give it, so my ranking is 1 out of 10, 1 to 10. It's kind of like, what's that pizza Barstool Sports, their pizza thing. Reminds you of a Gretsch Committee. Yeah. Alembic. Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, so this is a really cool guitar. It's not really my style. I'm not into, I don't prefer set necks, but anyway, it's a weird thing to not like. I'm going to go 8.3 on this one. All right, so next up, this belongs to Blake Russell. I think Blake is in here. This is a freaking duo. What a serious duo of guitars here. So it's a Waterloo WL14. I double checked this. So his is serial number 37. My WLS is serial number 1196. So there's like 1,160 guitars between these two. It's crazy. This is a really cool guitar. I'm assuming it's ladder braced. I think they all... Yeah, I'm assuming this is ladder braced. Very cool. The other one is a 1996. So this is like a Wren Ferguson era Gibson J45 Western. Just a cool monster of a guitar. That is a really cool duo. That's the best setup of like the Gibson-ish tones, especially with the ladder braced WL14. So Max, I saw. Yeah, Max sent me a picture. You got a D28. Oh, and Blake, this is X braced. Awesome. Okay. Oh, how do you pronounce your name? Markion? Markion. Hey, Jeremy, any tips for getting hired at a guitar store or music store? That is a really good question. Hang on to the end. I'll answer that in the Q&A. Remind me in like 20 minutes or so when we get through these. So Blake, this duo is a just powerful duo. I would be super proud. This could do anything you want to do. Do both have pickups or just one has a pickup? But yeah, so both technically round shoulder is the... So it's a 14 fret, X-braced, T-bar, X-braced. What a cool... yeah, this is a great duo. And then the J45 is just like tried and true, great guitar. Oh, hey, hold on. We'll clean that up down there. So yeah, this is super cool, Blake. I would be just like, this is a duo, for me too. So bigger body, smaller body, big scale or shorter scale. I think they have the same scale length. Anyway, this is just a killer duo. This one is like way down the middle right for me. So I'm going to give this one an 8.9, maybe even a 9.0. This is just a killer guitar. All right, this next one comes from Tyler. So Tyler is an old friend. He works in Nashville. Oh boy, what's the name of the guitar shop? He might be on here. So he's usually on here. But Tyler, this is an MJT Strat. This is a 1960 Strat. What's cool about, if you don't know about MJT, they're kind of parts casters. They get put together and then reliced and aged, and they get really cool hardware. So you get a ton of guitar for your money. So this is one of the first ones. He believes that this is one of the first ones aged by Mark Jenny. Which Mark Jenny is just an amazing, kind of in the same like Tom Murphy, that same kind of realm of guitar virtuoso, making new guitars look and feel like old guitars. This one is really cool. It's got hand-wound 50s, hand-wound fat 50s pickups, which I love those. Years ago, I had a custom shop, Pink Paisley. Nope, sorry. I had a custom shop Shell Pink 57 Strat that I had put in the fat 50s, and it was a killer. That neck tone, sheesh, what a great guitar. So this is super cool. I like the parchment guard. I like the hardware. I like all of this. This is a super cool guitar. This is easily like an 8.75 for me. Very cool guitar. Thanks for sharing, Tyler. All right, so here's another. This is a really cool, like, this is a whole collection, and it all kind of tells a really cool story. So the first one is, you can't really see it, but like way over here, there's a Cordoba ukulele, which I think every guitar player, you need to get a mandolin, you need to get a ukulele, you need to get a piano. Just use your brain in more ways musically, and it'll just make you a more solid musician all around. So that's a super cool one. The other one is a Fender CD140, which I think is pound for pound one of the absolute best guitars in your first couple years in that intermediate stage of learning how to play guitar. The pickup sounds really good. It's usually as a Fishman pickup. It just works really well. There's a tuner in it. There's a cutaway. It's very light. What's also cool is that they're tough and they're robust, and so they work really well. Yeah. So, oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. The studio back behind, was it Blake? Back here? Yeah, that studio looks insane. But so then we move over here to this Telecaster, which I love. Is this a Tele Deluxe? Yeah, it's a Tele Deluxe. It has the humbuckers. Now, there's lots of, we've talked about this before, and everyone seems to have an opinion about this. But they're not technically wide range. They look like wide range, but, it's very different construction on the old ones. But these still are so cool and so diverse. I think Teles are amazing. This is a perfect kind of blend between, like, it still sounds like a Tele, but you can get some really cool, like, thicker tones. So for me, this is a guitar that you could play like indie, rock and roll, punk rock. You could do really spacey stuff on the neck pickup. You could do really clean stuff in the middle position, especially because you have the 2 volumes and 2 tones, I think. Yes. 2 volumes, 2 tones, so you can start to really blend that middle position. This guitar is just a monster for like getting so many different tones. I think this guitar is a winner. The other one over there, what is that? That's a Gretsch. Yeah, it's a Gretsch, one that looks very similar to Duesenberg. Very cool. I think it has Filtertrons or TV Jones. This is a cool setup. It covers a ton of different range. And then down below is a super diverse, the Vox, the X, what is it, the VT40X. Cool amp, can do a ton of different tones. So this is really cool. Like, if you look at, like, ukulele, acoustic guitar, really diverse Tele, and then the Gretsch, paired with that Vox, I mean, you could cover any tone you want. This is, like, an awesome, this is Walter's setup. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a killer setup, man. I would be super excited. The only thing that I would, like, tweak or modify was maybe get a bigger amp. Maybe, like, because everything is really, like, able to cover every bass. Get one thing that is just, like, obnoxiously, hilariously good at doing one thing. So maybe that's like a, I don't know, like a little tweed thing. Like a really straightforward, like, single channel tube amp on one side, or get an AC15. I mean, that's really similar to what you have. Anyway, very cool. I'm reading some of the comments. Yeah, VHT, Classic 18, any of those would be really cool and really fun. A 5E3, I mean, I think everyone should own a 5E3 at some point. I don't know, it took me until I was 33, or how old am I? 33 to get one. And I wish I was so late picking that one up. I really wish I would have gotten in there. But I think this is a killer rig. It's super diverse. I like getting, like, really extreme examples of each thing. Like, I like a D28 that sounds the most like a D28, and I like all the way on the other end, like a super mellow, short scale guitar. So, like, for me, I said a D28, I mean a D18. So, like, I have my Husson Dalton, and on the other end of that spectrum, I have my Waterloo. So, for me, I would get something that's just more, like, pointed on either end. But, yeah, this is a killer setup. So, I'm going to go, like, 8-1 on this one. Really cool setup. Oh my gosh. So this one is, I have played this guitar. I've worked on this guitar. I've made a video about this guitar. This is Ryan. So Ryan Doval lives here in town. He is a great player around here locally. He actually sent me his pedal board as well. But, so he had me work on this guitar. It's probably about a year ago. I worked on this guitar, and he was just really unhappy with the neck pickup. I think he had a Seymour Duncan Antiquity in the bridge, and he didn't like the Antiquity in the neck at that point, or maybe it was some other pickup. And so we swapped it out for a Twisted Tele neck pickup. We put the Twisted Tele neck pickup in, and to me it was kind of cool because it made it sound so stratty. But it ended up just not being the thing that Ryan wanted. So he swapped it back out. I think he's back to an Antiquity. But this has CTS pots. What else? It has upgraded Gilkerson. No, it's a different. different saddles. I mean, this is a working man's guitar. Now, what's cool is this is a 2001 road worn. It's a polyurethane finish, but I think it was refinned into nitro. It's been checked up. It's been finished. And he uses this thing all the time. And it has, I mean, as much crazy wear has been added to it, there's also just really cool wear that he's done himself. This is, I mean, if you like blackguards, this thing is just straight down the middle. Super cool. I like this thing a lot. He also, well, let me give you a rating on this one. This one is like, I miss a blackguard. I love Telecasters and I miss blackguards. So I have my pink Paisley, and I got my pink Paisley, and I sold my 52 reissue because they were very similar. But I still miss like a butterscotch finish in a blackguard. This one is so cool and plays great. I mean, this one's high for me. This one's like an 8-9 for me. And so here's his pedal board, which I think is really cool, and I'm going to have to get a little closer to look at this one. So the pedal board is, so he's got a Vox wah. I don't totally know the signal path, but he has a Vox wah, which is really cool. He does a lot of, they do some covers, and they do some, his band is called Who Shot John, but they also do a bunch of covers and a bunch of cool stuff. He's got a volume pedal, which I think, that's like a staple on my board. Like, it doesn't count as a pedal board in my mind unless I have a volume pedal. Then he goes into a blues driver, a tube screamer. What is that? Is it a D? It's not a DD3 because it doesn't have blue knobs, but he swaps knobs. What's this white one down here? I can't quite see it. It's so little. But yeah. Oh, and then he's got a JHS. What do you call it? The Littlefoot, the fuzz. I had one of those. They're really cool fuzzes. And then looks like a mooer down there on the end. I might open this on my phone so I can see it. So I can see it closer. Okay, so it's a noise suppressor. And his knobs are set up. He's got the gate and... Okay, yeah, so noise suppressor down there. He's got a Littlefoot and then a Katana. Oh, that's cool. That's a clean boost, right? A Keeley Katana. That's a cool pedal. Then he's got a Keeley compressor. I don't know the signal path, but I'm just kind of running through stuff. Then the sub and up. That's a killer pedal. If you want a Pog but don't want to spend like $200 or $250 for a Pog, get the sub and up. That's the sub and up. I think that's the mini. There might be a bigger one. It's also very similar to the Pitchfork. It's really cool for adding like an octave up and an octave down. You can also do intervals on them. Very cool. The MXR Phase 95, super cool. A Voodoo Labs Tremolo, that's a really good sounding tremolo. And then this is the pedal I'm probably the most jealous of, is the JHS Spring Tank. I love this pedal. I passed on one at Baton Rouge Music Exchange a while ago. I wish I would have kept it. Then top right, he's got a Wampler. Top right, he's got a Univibe. This is awesome. This is a really cool setup. Then he's got a Tumnus, which is such a great pedal. I think the Tumnus just came in number 2, or it almost always comes in number 2 to Real Clons. But yeah, that's a cool pedal. And oh, cool. He's got a Wazacraft, a Boss DM2W. Very cool analog delay. This one looks like it might be modded even. I don't know. He just changes a lot of knobs. And then a Timeline, a tuner up top left, and then an EP booster. This pedal board is made for you to like sit, with your band and play for hours and play tons of covers. I mean, you could do everything in here. The only thing that's not in here, maybe there's some stacking that happens between the Blues Driver and the Tube Screamer or the Tumnus, which is interesting to put. The Tumnus is so far, presumably, down the signal path. Anyway, this is a super cool, diverse board that can do a lot. This thing, yeah. And you would do some dancing because you got 3 rows. But if you're wearing cowboy boots, you got good pointy toes. You can do it. This is a really cool setup. I like this a lot. Given it's the only pedal board that we have this week. But I would still be really interested in this setup. And so for me, I feel like there's nothing really missing other than like there's a phaser, maybe some modulation stuff, or maybe a bigger ambient reverb. That's more my style. Throw an RV6, throw a Fathom, a Walrus Audio Fathom, something like that. This is a really cool setup. All right, 9.0. It's just, it's really not lacking anything. All right, let's move on. So this is Mike's Mitchell MX420. Smoke them if you got them. I told myself I wouldn't make that joke, but I've thought about it every time. You're right. Of course, the Strymon. Yeah, Strymon Timeline is that big, crazy. Yes. Okay, never mind. Full 9.0, no caveats. That's a great setup. This Mitchell MX420, very cool guitar, very small. I love the different color on the top. I love the figured grain in the top. I would assume this guitar is probably all laminate. Very cool guitar. You could take it anywhere you want to go. It would play really well. It would sound pretty good. Cool guitar. Not totally my thing. I'm going to give this one a 7-8, but really cool. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for checking. Thanks for sending me stuff to check out. Romer. Here is a great duo, which I'm kind of torn on this duo. So this is Romer Collective, and so this is a O Martin, a O 17 SM. Yes, okay, hang on, I put it here in the middle. It's a O 15 SM, so slot headstock, and then the M designation, mahogany, silkscreen logo, open gear tuners, and I said slot head, 12 fret. This is a really cool guitar, super cool, and would do everything you need to do. Both of these guitars have the M1 active. These guitars, both of these like totally give me vibes of like Dallas Green, City and Color. That's just such an iconic. He's played 15s and 17s and done that same kind of thing. The other one it's a 0015 M, and so both of these guitars, they are very similar. So it makes me wonder, like, do they play the role of backup for each other? I do think if you're only going to own two guitars, which I'm sure he owns more than this, but these two are very, very, very similar. Maybe they're different tunings. Maybe they're backups for each other. This is a really cool guitar. Rating on this, 8.9. I gotta stick with whichever my first one is. My only issue is that they're very similar to each other, but super cool guitars. This is the coolest one. I've said that a bunch. I've been accused of being very optimistic, too optimistic, some might say. But this is just such a cool guitar. So this is a Brian May Guitars special, the red special. This is iconically, like this guitar is so much of the tone for Queen. So if you like Queen, if you kept up with them, if you watched the movie, the Rami Malek movie a couple years ago, you've seen the red special. So there's a crazy story of the red special, like that Brian May, he and his dad made this guitar in their garage when he was in high school. It's very cool. Oh, of course. WYSIWYG just said the Milk Carton Kids. Of course. That last one, yeah. So Dallas Green, and then other great, that's an 015 that what's his name plays. And they just did a limited run. I think they're already sold out at Gruen, but they did a limited run of his 015s. Anyway. So, back to this one. So this Brian May guitar is super cool. This and a Vox AC30? Or maybe, was it a high watt? What were they? He's used Voxes forever. But to get that really crunchy, wonderful, nasally tone, I remember 10 years ago or so, like this was a tone I wanted to get into. I still think Fat Bottom Girls, that that D to A part is just so cool. And such cool tone. So, Vicky, thanks for sending this. This is a really cool guitar. And if you have this kind of guitar, it shows that you really care about what you're doing. And, it just shows a lot about you as a player for someone that would pick this. So, totally cool. I'm quite jealous. I've only played one red special. I played a clone a while ago, and I thought it was so cool. Because what the other thing is that Brian May allegedly plays with a penny or a nickel or a coin of some sort. Anyway, super cool. Thanks for sharing. This is very cool. Oh, Drew. What a monster. So, Drew, this is a Martin D15M. This is such a cool... I packed them up. So this week I filmed a video that y'all will see probably next week. It's a 3-way shootout between a D17, a D17M, and a D15. And it's a super cool guitar. I think that these are just so much value, such a cool guitar. They feel vintagey and old and cool, and they have a really warm tone. They're perfect for learning how to play. They're perfect for playing for a long time. They're so good to take with you. They travel well. They age really well. This is a really cool guitar. And what's cool is this picture came from Sweetwater, so it's his actual guitar. And then there's a picture of him playing it. This is super cool. My first guitar, my first Martin was a D15. So very similar to this, but closed gear tuners, big sticker in the back, no binding, just big and dorky. And kind of like me in high school. No, I wasn't dorky. I was a scene kid to the core. I searched today looking for a picture. It's in my high school yearbook. It's me playing my D15 in my kitchen with my older brother, or with one of my brothers. And both of us have like bleach blonde hair, tube socks. It's just like the epitome. Like, yeah, it was always funny. I was super into Blink-182 and I loved acoustic guitars. So I dressed like a super punk rock kid. And I played in a punk rock band. But I also loved Martins. So it was a funny, weird. But anyway, I looked for a while. I couldn't find it. It wasn't that worthwhile. This one, Instagram was weird. Someone sent me this picture and then it, like, the message disappeared and I don't know where it went. But this is a really cool duo. So this, on one side, what color is this? It's a Mexican, I think it's a Mexican or an American color from the 90s. I had a Tele Deluxe in the same finish, and I think it's beautiful. So an American Tele on, is that the right? Yes, I'm looking at it the same way you are. This is a super cool, I didn't rate that last one. 9.0 on this one. Just such a cool guitar, just the right guitar for a lot of guitar playing. All right, so Tele, and then this is I believe it's a 76 Gibson Marauder. And the Marauder is a super cool, I mean, it's like so strangely close to a Telecaster, but it's still a single cut, but it's got, like, you could tell this is Gibson kind of stepping out of their lane a bit, in the mid 70s coming into these. Yeah. So Seafoam. Yeah. I would call this a Seafoam. Seafoam's a little like whiter, but this is a very cool color. I forget what they called this. It's going to bug me. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and remember the name of this color. Anyway, this Tele is super cool. I love the Maple Guard. The Marauder is cool. They share a lot of similar tones, but they just have so much, they have so much overlap, and I think they're really cool. And they really complement each other really well. Oh yeah, those big 70s Gibson bridges. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it just sits on 2 posts. I mean, it's a standard. You could swap it out to something if you want. Yeah, so this isn't Lake Placid. It's not Seafoam. I'll have to look up the color chart for the 90s. But that's when it gets tricky, because there's just hundreds of different colors. But this is super cool. And, oh, that's fun. Kimberly Dalton from Hudson Dalton just texted me. That's fun. I'm trying to get a Statesboro to do a video on, because people are looking for valid alternatives to Gibsons. And Hudson Dalton, their Statesboro is amazing. I mean, they don't do anything unless they can just nail it and knock it out of the park. And so those guitars are awesome. I think they work with Fralin, so I think it's all Fralin pickups. Very cool, all handmade in Stanton. I need to go down where, we're getting to a place where I can, tell her to jump on the stream. Yeah, we'll do that one time. I'm meant to go down there next week, and we'll go hang out. So we were talking about those bridges, talking about color. Ocean turquoise. I think I'm almost positive that's what it is. Anyway, between these two, they're very cool. If you don't like that bridge, you can swap out the bridge. I just like the funky factor. Like, if you have the Telecaster in this duo, the Telecaster can play the straight man in, like, the story of your tone, and then just, just the crazy guy, like, the total, like, weirdo could be this other one that would just be cool and funky and weird. So yeah, I'm in. This is a cool duo. It's time that 70s Gibsons got a lot more just respect and view. Now there are certainly some really dumpy guitars from the 70s, but there are also some that are really cool. Like L6S's are cool, and they play really well usually. And if you don't like them, you can change out a lot of the parts. So very cool. This duo, I'm gonna give this one an 8.6. This is a really good duo. Rasmus, yeah, I saw you rated. I rated your guitar last week, I think. 8.9. Hey, this is David Manson. So this is David. I think he's a senior or maybe a freshman in college this year. He lives around here, and he's just a really great guitar player. Super young guy. So he built this parts caster. It has 3 of the Hot Rails pickups. This is a cool, diverse, kind of bluesy guitar. Super cool. It's really impressive that he built it himself and put it together himself. Not my style, but I can totally see the appeal. Very cool guitar. 8.4 for me. He also sent me this guitar, which is crazy. This one isn't his, but there's 2 things that are really interesting about this to me. I really like the idea of like a 1 pickup Les Paul. It's a cool, like it never happened, never really existed, but I think it's cool. 1 pickup guitars are awesome. And they force you, it's kind of like a race car. Like the better it is, the less things that you have. Like you're not going to have AC, you're not going to have door handle pulls, you get to where it's just stripped down and just everything that you need it to be. So this one is really cool. What I find most interesting is, how do I do this? Right there. I guess I could go like this. So it's a dog ear. It's not a soap bar. That's one of the things that's really interesting, because normally this would be, a soap bar that would be, countersunk into the top of the guitar. So it makes me wonder about either the neck profile or just the logistics of getting, like what the angle of the bridge is off of the body to get to get a dog ear rather than a soap bar. Regardless, this is a cool thing. I'm sure this is a very pricey guitar. It seems like this would pretty easily be like, $4,500, $5,000. Probably a custom shop thing, but it's cool. I would be super into it if I had it. It is strange that the knobs are basically like a volume and a tone instead of being like volume, volume, tone, tone. It's like the diagonal. So the knobs are a little crazy. Anyway. The other thing is this Gibson amp back behind it. I'm not sure what it is. I poked around a little bit in one of my books over there. I can't quite figure out which one it is, but I bet it's from the BR series in the 50s. It's very cool. Most of those amps have probably either died, been serviced, been swapped. They kind of change around, but this is a cool setup. Anyway, we'll keep going. I'll rate this. This is 8.6 for me. It's cool, but it's unusual. This is Godin. Is this an L9? This is Jartuo. So this is a Canadian-made, really tidy Godin guitar. I don't play many Godins. People always ask me my opinion of Godins. I just haven't really been around them too much. And what I have, like, they're okay. They're just not quite my style. I do like that they're always pushing for the best guitars coming. Like, they're always working and innovating. This is very cool. Yeah, JT. So this is your Canadian beauty. Very cool. I love P90s. This seems like a super, like, clean, overdriven, like a really, it's not extreme in any way. It's just a really good representation. So anyway, yeah, that's great. This is very cool. 8.6 on this, the LG P90. That's a very cool guitar. So 8.6. Oh my gosh, Justin, this is your chainsaw case, Les Paul custom with a roller nut or roller saddle. Sorry. You told me, I didn't put it in here, but a roller saddle. This is a super cool. Yeah, this is a really cool guitar. I really like these. The only thing that's not my style is the cherry sunburst. I just don't like that real red finish. This in white, this in black. Either one of those I would be all over. Mostly white. I want a Randy Rhoads. Help me find one. If you guys find one, or if you have one, your cousin Ricky has one. He hasn't played since high school. Let me know. I would love to have one of these. I love Les Paul Customs. I had that Tobacco Sunburst one I did a video on maybe a year ago. I think it's very cool. Oh, no, Justin, I think I did. Let me find it real quick. And I can... So Justin asked if I had seen the story on how he came to have this guitar. So... Chicago Guitar Store was looking for an acoustic. So you were in Chicago Guitar Store looking for an acoustic pickup. Guy came in with this LP, with this Les Paul, opened the case, and the owner leaned back and saw the burst, and the rest is history. That was in 1990 or thereabouts. That's really cool. How cool. Yeah. So that was 1990. So that guitar was like 17 years old then. Yeah, that's really cool. Yep. Cool. These are super cool. And these, I don't even care if they're that heavy. Yep. Because Brett Hines played one of these for a long time, but he had one of the silver burst ones. I guess his was an 81. But yeah, very cool. These guitars, they never really dropped in value because they've always been cool. But I still feel like you can get these for a good deal. So very cool. All right. What should I rate this one? 8.8 on this one. Very cool. Oh, we're back to the beginning. We did it. Everybody, give yourself a round of applause. Good work. Oh, we're back. Turn the wrong thing off. Now turn this back on. Come back to the center. All right, so now we'll jump into questions. Oh, what was that question earlier? It was, let me check time. All right, we got 7 minutes. What? This says 3. That says 2:56. That says 2:54. We'll go until that clock says 3. So, if I were giving advice on how to, if you want a job working at a guitar store, what would I do to make sure you get that job? One, I would already probably be a customer. I would be a regular in that guitar shop. I would be like just regularly participating in that guitar shop's life. Yeah. And, so the way I was hired at the guitar shop at the Guitar and Amp Center was that I'd been a customer for a long time. Also, I knew the guy who was leaving, and he asked me if I wanted to be put up for it, and I said, yes, please. And I just asked him, like, can you please tell me about, or can you please just put in a good word for me? So he went to bat for me, and he really stood up and said, Jeremy's one of the best customers we have. He knows a lot about guitars. You should hire him. I hadn't been in sales before that, or really technically been in like service or guitar repairs. And Warren, I came in a couple days later, and Warren, I came in, and Warren was like, hey, I have something I want to show you. He takes me in the back and shows me a pre-war D18, a 1939 Martin D18, best guitar I've ever played. He's like, hey, what do you think about this guitar? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, well, this is really cool. I bet this is this 1937, 1939? And he was like, yeah. He's like, that's great. And what I didn't know was that was kind of my interview. And then he said, hey, I think it'd be good would you want to work here? Would you want to come and sell guitars for me? And I was like, absolutely. He's like, when can you start? I was like, I'll go quit my job now. I was washing dishes across town at the university. So I went and quit. I was like, I'm not coming back. And they're like, okay. And so I left and worked at the guitar shop. Now, what advice would I give now? So I would say, like, know your stuff. Like, know a lot about guitars and a lot about what you care about. I would also stay away from strong opinions about guitars. I used to have all kinds of dumb stuff to say about Taylors. there, and this is kind of a Patton Oswalt joke that has become like life wisdom for me. There used to be guitars that I loved, and then guitars that I would argue about. Like, if you like an Ovation, we're going to argue about it. Those are bad guitars. Those are, why would you ever play that? A Taylor, why would you ever play that when you could play a Martin or a Gibson? And it's just those strong opinions. For a while, I know for me, it was insecurity and it was wanting to belong. I wanted to fit in. And so my heroes liked Martin guitars and they didn't like Taylor guitars. And so I made a big deal about it. But anyway, I think those things would make you need to like be aware of what would make you a good employee for them. I think the biggest thing that you can offer is come in with a plan of how you're going to make that business money and talk about the guitars that you love and the things that you help and the services that you can add to the business, the repairs that you could do. Just come in with a couple ideas saying like, hey, if we could re-up, if I could sell 4 of these guitars a month, I could pay for my salary. Or if I could, add these guitar repairs or restrings or whatever, I would just come in with a way of saying like, come in like a salesperson. Come in saying, hey, like, I got to drag home, and, what I get and what you get covers both of us. So that's a really good question. I want to think about it more, but that's my first pass at it. There were some other really good questions in here. What are my thoughts on 1943, 44, 45, 46, 47? D18s, they're awesome. Wartime guitars are really interesting, because they show like a really amazing thing. And maybe like us right now, maybe our generation now that have lived through the last year of the pandemic would have some similar understanding to this. So wartime Martins, like Martin's production was down to about 10% of their staff before. So it's kind of similar to how we are now. So they went from having several hundred guitar builders, and then most of them went to World War II, either to, okay. Oh, what happens in 48? Yeah, what happens in 48? We'll get there. So, Jansen. So, but wartime, you see, the quality of those instruments goes up because the only people that were left were the absolute best guitar builders around. Same thing with Gibson. Wartime guitars are really, really good. Usually these were people that were older, or for some reason weren't able to go to either the Asian theater or the European theater. Now, also, there's also collective sacrifice that happens during this time. There's rationing. The world is different. So you have many fewer people many fewer people working building guitars, but you also have limitations on, like, we're not going to put truss rods in these guitars because we need tanks in Germany. We're not going to put bushings around these tuners because we need bullets in Iwo Jima. So there is this collective sacrifice, and so the construction had to be more clever, had to be more precise. So like you look at guitars, like I think, Jansen, you might have had one, right? That like a wartime, one of my favorite things to look at on wartime guitars is how tight the tolerance is for the string pegs, for the tuner pegs, because there aren't bushings. And so it's just the peg coming through the wood, and it's just such a tidy, a couple of years ago I had an L7 from 1944, and it had a rosewood, like it had the metal bar for the trapeze tailpiece, but then the crossbar was made out of Brazilian rosewood. And it was just really cool to me that you see this, like, we're hunkering down, we're saving, we're doing the right thing, we're sacrificing, but we're also still committed to creating art and music and beauty, and that these are the moments that we need those things most. So I think they're very cool. Now, in like 47, 48, you had the war over. You had men coming back in that had lots of military experience. So we had lots of people that knew how to run gunnery turrets and knew how to run tanks. And so you see this whole boom of industry. So people are back. They're starting to make more money. They're starting to buy houses for the first time, buy cars for the first time. So anyway, quality didn't necessarily drop off. I don't know. It's a bad opinion in my opinion is that it is baloney that guitars got worse in the 50s and 60s. By the 70s, they definitely did, but I think there are a lot of 50s Martins that are just as good, if not better than pre-wars, and they're so much more affordable. Anyway, let me poke around. So, am I familiar with folkway music in Waterloo in Canada? A vintage specialist. So I follow them on Instagram. I've never been there. Never been to Canada. Got to fix that. So I'd love to come. What is your live stream setting up, and how are you avoiding latency with the audio? I'm not. So I'm using OBS. Run my camera into OBS and this microphone into an interface. The interface goes in, and then it all gets streamed out of OBS into YouTube. This is all like, it's good enough, but each week it can get a little better. So that's the plan. Oh, snaps. We live. Yeah. What's up, man? Jose Escobar. Mark Dugan. Pawpaw. What did Pawpaw say? Also, every now and then, there's just a special guitar for some unknown reason. A guitar just sounds special regardless of... Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Every now and then, there's just a guitar that just has the magic, the voodoo, the whatever, just the mojo. It's just that wood works really well together as a guitar. What are my thoughts on the Martin DCP A4? They're okay. They're not really my thing. So Dreadnought Cutaway Performing Artist and the 4. So that's a solid top, laminate back and sides, I think. They're cool. Yeah, if you're a live musician, they work really well. My preference, instead of buying a guitar that's like, it's totally custom made for people that play out, I would rather just have a guitar that I really love and I just put a really good pickup. Have I tried the California made guilds? I have. Somebody made a little sculpture of mine. So this is my M20. Very cool guitar. Yeah, that one actually went to one of my YouTube subscribers who was on a wait list forever to get one. And he was like, hey, I just really want one. Can I get one? So anyway. Mark Dugan. What are you saying? Yeah. Yeah, Mark lives in New Orleans area, close to where I used to live. Californian guilds are great. Any other questions? If not, it's about closing time. Oh, we went over. It's 5 minutes over. But anyway, this is your last chance for questions. I'll do announcements closing out. So thanks for watching. This video does not happen without the support of my patrons. So thanks, Adam, Andy, Gary, Tom, Jose. Thanks so much. If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/guitarhunter. And become a patron. $3 a month. That's the easiest way to support this video, because there's like little stuff that anyway, I want this, my channel exists to be a trusted friend talking about guitars. And so that's where I always want to be really careful how this thing gets supported. So anyway, the best way to keep that to where it's just us hanging out, building a community, making the world a better place, filling the world with music and friendship, is supporting through Patreon. And there's cool stuff with Patreon. What's the deal? Oh, Evan, you asked a different question. What was your question before this? So Evan asked a question about, hang on. Sorry, I'm like a squirrel. Got distracted. Other announcements. There's still some t-shirts. There's some coffee. JeremyTheGuitarHunter.com/shop. Coffee, there's a coupon code on the t-shirts, which is Fly Like an Eagle, all caps, all squished together. There's a coupon code. No, I think the coupon code's done on the coffee. But coffee came down in price. It is awesome, delicious, wonderful coffee. Buy a bag today. I think there's 3 more from this week's shipment. And there are t-shirts. I have a bunch of guitars for sale. I think it is officially time for me to sell my D17. Everyone has, tons of people have asked me if they can buy the D17. But yeah, so that one's going to sell this week. I also have a Taylor 412, that late 90s. It's a 96 Taylor 412 that I would love to sell. So let me know what y'all think, if anybody wants one of those. And other announcements. Go watch the PV Falcon video if you haven't seen it. This guitar, geez, it's so heavy. But this guitar, I cleaned up, tidied up, got together. And it's very cool. I'm going to swap some pickups into it this week. Anyway, that's the end of the announcements. That is the end of the announcements. Thanks for watching. So a couple last questions. This is the PS, period. Fender Excelsiors. Really cool amps. You can mod them pretty great. I have a video. It's an older video where I play. It was someone had modded an Excelsior to basically be a 5E3. And they put a Lynch back. A George Lynch Celestion in it. Very cool amp. They're super cool and easy to mod. Didn't they originally come with 15-inch speakers? That's the only thing that's a little honky about them. Is like, that's a big old speaker. But they're really cool. All that, like, was that the Pawn Shop series? That was the coolest one of that series. There was the other one, the Vapor. That was also really cool in there. Oh, and what's the deal with Fender Mustangs? That was your question, Evan. Fender Mustangs are shorter scale, single coil. They were always kind of student guitars. From the 60s, they were really cool. They would have funky colors. One of the coolest ones is they were blue and they would have like a racing stripe on it. But a lot of guitar shops, they were so pretty, they'd put them in the front windows. And so a lot of them have turned into where they look almost like this Pelham blue. They almost look like a Gibson color. Because they just kind of mold, the UV reacts, I think the lacquer reacts, and it turns really green. They're super cool guitars. I am hoping and dreaming that I can pull the right strings to get a one of the Ben Gibbards. They're kind of sold out everywhere. But I would love to own one of those Ben Gibbard, the new Mustangs. Because one of the coolest things is I was like, there's two pickups. There's not a pickup switch. How do they change the pickups? And I found that it's like underneath the tone. That's my brain. That's how my brain like. Anyway. Okay, this was super fun. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Check out the Guitar Hunter website. Become a patron. That'd be really awesome. This is super fun. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good week. See ya.